Do-It-Yourself Business Ideas 2021. How to get your free helium miner sooner. Hi, I'm Ricky Williams. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can be sure that you will earn more with your free helium hotspot. It's all about your hotspot making the right friends. First, are you still waiting for your helium miner to arrive? In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you how you can jump to the front of the delivery line. But first, let's look at how you can surround your hotspot with popular friends. The more your hotspot talks to other hotspots, the more money it will make you. But your hotspot is in a Goldilocks zone. Not enough hotspots around you means you can't make much money. In this example, Big Mahogany Gerbil got a hotspot here that's not doing much talking, and as a result, it only made $10.12 in the last 30 days. On the other side, if there are too many hotspots around you, Helium will make you share the rewards. In this example, Recumbent Tweed Turtle is in San Francisco. There are too many hotspots in this location. Even though Recumbent Tweed Turtle is talking to a lot of other hotspots, it's not getting the full rewards because there's just too many hotspots around it. Now here's a Goldilocks hotspot. The hotspot density is good with clear lines of sight. Large Linen Seahorse is in Clarksburg, Maryland, and you can see that it probably has fewer hotspots that it's talking to than the one in San Francisco. But look, it's making $677 over the last 30 days, so it's not having to share its rewards. So don't leave it to chance. It's time to stack your hotspot network in your favor. There are 5 steps. First, find your hotspot location, then set your 300-meter perimeter. You don't want any hotspots closer than 300 meters, or you'll be sharing your rewards with them and you won't make the maximum amount. 3, locate other hotspots for yours to talk to. 4, calculate the antenna height you need. This is an important step because even though on the map it might look like you could talk to a lot of hotspots, but if your hotspot doesn't have a clear line of sight, it's not going to be able to talk to those hotspots. 5, contact homeowners or business owners in new hotspot locations that will help your network talk more and make more money. Okay, the first step, if you want to put a hotspot in an area, you can preview other hotspots in that area in Helium Track or Helium Explorer. What if you want to put a hotspot in Chattanooga, Tennessee? In this example, looks like there's quite a few hotspots around, and also an area there in the middle that doesn't have any hotspots, so that might be a good place to put one. That way you're not sharing rewards, but you're still close enough to talk to other hotspots. Look at Google Earth to get an idea of changes in elevation or tall buildings, trees, and so on around your hotspot location. Just click on the button that says 3D and you can also get a three-dimensional view of your hotspot location and the surrounding area. And when you click on that button, it'll also give you a rotating view so you can see what the area looks like from the perspective of your hotspot in a 360-degree circle. You can find the latitude and longitude from the street address of your potential hotspot location in Google Maps. So in this location, I'm targeting a business. You can see that the information pops up at the bottom of the screen there with the address. You'll also see longitude and latitude coordinates on that little pop-up. You're only going to see that, though, if you're at 500 meters or larger for the scale. So if you look in the lower right, it says 500 feet there. When you see that, then this pop-up is going to show you the longitude and latitude. Enter the latitude and longitude data in Circleplot. This is a tool put out by fcc.gov. I put the address of this website in the description of this video, along with the other website references. So in this case, you want to enter the latitude and longitude in the locations there by the arrows. Click the radio button for kilometers and put in 0.3. So 0.3 kilometers is 300 meters, which is the radius that you want. And then you can also enter in the address if you want to identify this point. Create the KML file and then save it to your computer because we're going to need it in the next step. And the next step is to create a map in google.com/MyMaps. Name your map. In this case, I named it after the address of the hotspot that I'm investigating, and then save it. and then click Import. And when you click Import, you're going to import that KML file that you saved to your computer. This is what Google Map looks like without the 300-meter radius overlay. Google Maps doesn't have the capability to add a radius, which is why we went through this other step using circle plots. So if you're just looking at Google Maps without a radius, you kind of have to eyeball it and make a judgment call on, how far is 300 meters and where can I put another hotspot. But if you use this Circleplot tool, then it takes some of the guesswork out of it. So this is what the Google Maps looks like with the KML file overlay, and that puts it in there automatically. You don't have to do that. It shows the 300-meter radius around your hotspot, and then you can start looking around that radius for other potential hotspots. If you're a business, you might want to target other businesses and build a network of hotspots in different businesses that can help each other. And that's a good selling point when you ask another business to add a hotspot, along with getting free money, of course. So in this case, we're gonna pick another hotspot location, get the latitude and longitude just like we did on the first one, and enter that in the Circleplot tool. Enter the latitude and longitude, the 0.3 kilometers, a new address, and then create a KML file and save that to your computer. You're going to go back in Google MyMaps and you're going to add a new layer and import that KML file. And when you import the KML file, you're going to see the second overlay or the second radius for the new proposed hotspot. It's okay if these radiuses overlap. You just don't want to have two hotspots within the same circle. You can keep repeating these steps, finding new hotspot locations, entering the latitude and longitude, generating the KML file, and then going back to Google My Maps. And each time you'll create a new potential hotspot with a 300-meter radius. And you can do this as many times as you want. Maybe you want to add 2 or 3 radiuses at a time. It's helpful to have, a half a dozen or more, because when you reach out and contact homeowners or business owners and see if you can add a new hotspot to their location, some of them might not be interested. Or when we do the next step and look at antenna height, some of these might not be very practical because there might be obstructions between you and this site. So you're probably not going to get hotspots in all of these locations. So it helps to, to add several as you begin your investigation. So let's go to the next step, calculating the antenna height. This will be the height that your hotspot needs to be able to see these other hotspots. The line of sight tool, the URL will also be in the description, so you can find that later. The first thing you're going to do is enter the latitude and longitude for your hotspot location in Radio 1, the blue marker area there. Then you're going to click the Plot GPS button. And in the map, it'll show your hotspot location. And then the second thing you want to do is enter the latitude and longitude for one at a time for each of your other hotspot locations. And that'll be for the Radio 2, the green marker. And every time you enter one, it'll peg that new location. And then when you click Plot GPS, you wait a few seconds, and then this radio path study chart in the lower left here will pop up. And in this case, it's showing, the line of sight is showing as red. And that means there's an obstruction between your hotspot and the hotspot that you want to talk to. And on the lower left there, you can see that the blue antenna has a antenna height of 1 meter. So if you start bumping that up until the line of sight turns green, then you'll know what height antenna you need to be able to talk to the green antenna. So in this case, you keep bumping up your antenna height until you reach 15 meters. And at 15 meters, you're going to be able to see that other hotspot. So if we go to the second hotspot, you can see that you're only going to need 9 meters in order to be able to see that hotspot. And the third hotspot at Hamilton Plastics, you're going to need an 11-meter high antenna. Now, a 15-meter high antenna is pretty high, and that may or may not be practical for you to do. So you have other options. One of the things that you could do would be to ask the other hotspots to add antennas to their location. So if they added, for example, a 5-meter antenna at their locations, then maybe you only need a 5-meter antenna at your location. And that's something that would be a lot easier for you to do. So that's one solution. Another solution would be to try hotspots in different directions and distances. You may be able to find hotspots that don't have obstructions where you don't need such a high antenna. And it's a good idea to keep adding more target hotspots to find where you don't need the highest antenna. And you just keep repeating that until you have an antenna that you're willing to add to your hotspot and will communicate with lots of other hotspots. The fifth step is to invite owners of your best target hotspot locations to get their own hotspot. But if these people don't know you, they may not be receptive to your offer. Their filters are going to go up. They may not be able to hear what you're saying or even believe your offer, even though it could be making them free money. But there's still ways to get people or other businesses to listen to your offer. You can make it personal. Look up the names of the residents of your target hotspots. If it's another business, you can use a tool like whitepages.com, and there are many other tools, and just enter in the address. At the bottom right here of this view, the name of the business or the name of the owner of the residence will pop up. In this case, Insane Paintball pops up. Maybe you'd rather get the owner's name, and there's other tools that we'll talk about where you can get the owner's name. But if you're a business, maybe it makes sense for you to contact this other business that's in your general location and see if they want to work with you on creating a hotspot network that will provide high rewards to all the businesses in the network. Everybody gets junk mail, even businesses. If you send an invitation to add a free hotspot to their location, they may not even open your envelope. One way to get more people to open your invitation would be to send them a hand-addressed snail mail letter inviting them to get the free hotspot. So people are more likely to open a letter that's handwritten, especially if it has our name on it. I've provided a link to a sample letter in the description, a good way to approach people to make them an offer that's not too salesy, and you don't want to make it too long either. So you can check that link out and get some ideas from it. Another thing you can do is to include a URL address to a personal video that you record on YouTube, introducing yourself or your business and describing the free Helium offer in more detail. And if people see that in your letter or an email, they may be more likely to check it out. If they're at all interested in the offer, they can click your link and decide whether or not they might be interested and whether or not they trust you enough to talk to you. If your target hotspot is in a business location, here are some of the other ways to find the owner's name. First of all, just call and ask, especially if you're another business. You may very well get to talk to the owner. The second way is to go through Chamber of Commerce or Better Business Bureau. You can also check out the company website and see if they have an About Us page, or you can search whois.domaintools.com or similar websites, and many times they'll show who the owner of the website is. You can also check Facebook company pages or LinkedIn company pages. So, how can you get an earlier delivery of your hotspot? If you're going with iHub and getting the free miner, then the best way is to convince iHub Global that your hotspots are going to be successful. And the way to do that is to plan a cluster of 6 hotspots using the Helium Track tool. Send out mining assessments to the hotspot hosts in your planned cluster, and that'll give them some information about what hotspots in their area are earning and give them an estimate of what they might be able to earn with their hotspot. Then you need to convince your invited hotspot hosts to go ahead and reserve their hotspot locations. It doesn't cost them anything to do that, and it puts them in line to get some free money. If you're interested in getting your own free hotspot miner, then keep watching my videos to help you understand the risk and rewards. If you can't wait, you can get started right away by clicking the first link in the comments below. Click the nationalconsumeradvocate.com/free miner link in the first comment below this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel to get the latest info about making free money with your hotspot.